I'm Jane Applegath. Welcome to the Epic Vision Zone, where bold ideas meet extraordinary leaders. What if chaos wasn't the end of order, but the birthplace of vision? And what if the leaders who thrive aren't the ones who control chaos, but the ones who learn to dance with it? Today, we're stepping into the heart of uncertainty with one of the world's most foremost thinkers on vision and leadership, Dr. Oleg Konovalov. Dubbed the Da Vinci of visionary leadership, Dr. Oleg is a global thought leader, author, and trusted advisor to executives who see clarity where most see only confusion. His new book, Beyond Chaos, is not just a roadmap, it's a revolution. Blending mapping and reflection exercises with strategy, the book shows us how to transform disruption into direction, turbulence into triumph, and chaos into clarity. According to Dr. Oleg, chaos is not the villain we imagine, but the crucible where clarity is forged. His book reminds us that when everything feels uncertain, the real question is not how do we escape, but what vision will I create on the other side? And perhaps the greatest act of leadership is not controlling the storm, but becoming the calm within it. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the pace of change or paralyzed by the unknown, this conversation is your compass. Welcome, Dr. Oleg. Thank you for joining us here once again to share the powerful insights into your new book, Beyond Chaos: How to Create Clarity Where Everything Falls Apart.
Jane, thank you very much. I love our conversations, and I'm greatly honored to be on your show. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, we're honored to have you here again, and such a timely book for today's times. So, give us an idea. In your book, you say that the chaos begins with our thinking. How do we define chaos in thinking, or how do you define chaos in thinking?
This is something I have started thinking because we always live in chaos. Every generation, wars, political issues, personal issues, social events, whatever. We always live in some kind of a turmoil. But it's not about what is changing around us. It's about how it affects within us. And in today's world, with avalanche of changes, we must change mental models so often that we can't even control what we're doing and what to grasp what's important. Chaos is an ability to understand the world around us and put it into clear mental models that we could process. It's one side of the story. Another side of the story is we're getting, if our ancestors, through generations, they were always avoiding chaos. Today, many people become addicted to chaos. And so it's like chaos addiction because of that noise. You could see people always scrolling through their phones or flipping the channels. Put it in a simple way. How many people do you know that could sit down and read 15 pages of a book like in one go without disruption? Not many. We're always disrupted and we believe that this is the norm, but it is not. So we opening our mind gates to that trouble ourselves. And what I'm saying in this sense, chaos is a norm. It's always been a norm. Clarity is an achievement because chaos is given to us, but we never could get a clarity as something given, taken for granted. We don't have it. We must create it. And that made me to dig into this subject because another way to look at it, my field is vision and vision leadership. But I was looking using a bit of mathematical approach. What's on the opposite side of that, what's in the other extreme. Vision is the top of everything, of
Mhm.
thoughts. What's the opposite side? Where all begins? In chaos, because it's negative side. How to get out of it?
Right. Yes, absolutely. I love that. That clarity is an achievement. And certainly chaos is very significant, more so in today's world than anything. Maybe give us some insight into why that is, because I know you mentioned a little bit about flipping through the channels, but we're dealing with the introduction of technology that is moving faster than we can keep up. Of course, we've got the social medias, but there's things that are happening. Maybe just give us an idea, because this is a very significant time, and the significance of chaos thinking in today's world. Why is it so significant?
Well, we're humans and we have a certain capacity for different things.
Mhm.
One of those psychological elements is we are capable to process about 30,000 reactions a day. But if you start flipping through the TikTok or flipping the channels or flipping whatever those running pictures, you're exceeding that number. So you're becoming incapable and you simply absorb without even processing. And it creates tension within your mind. It's one side of the story. Another side of the story, life is unpredictable. It's never easy. Looking at my life, I don't think life is very easy. It's always throws curveballs. So someone got like assuming that he or she is happy, then facing a divorce and losing everything, or someone is losing business, or someone lost everything, or on a brink of bankruptcy, or people saying, "Oh, we're going through the crisis," but it could be really challenging events when that power of being human, clear, with clear mind, is taken away because we gave it away. We're giving it away because we are trying to, in a good way, thanks to that technologies, we're trying to follow everything, every little change. And even just like because it's trendy now, you must follow those news. No, those news will be forgotten tomorrow. I must follow something that would be critical for my life, not just like trendy or noisy. It doesn't make sense. Therefore, it's about asking yourself a simple question: how much of my life, or how much I'm losing because I'm allowing this chaos into my mind? Or, in a business terms, how much chaos cost, costs to my business? Chaos and thinking. And the cost is tremendous. As soon as
Mhm.
you realize it, you get yourself very clear. Whatever happens to us, you could lose everything, but never lose yourself.
Mm. That's the key right there. Never lose yourself. Yes, because you always have choices, and the choices are, what do you want to feed your mind that will
And
benefit it?
you brilliantly pointed this, and I would just add to this to something. As you know, many people are very good at blaming external factors. Oh, that happens there. Oh, my friend said no. It's not about this. It's what within you. The chaos. What happens? You see, chaos is created by many people who are impacting us, but we're always
Mhm.
facing chaos on our own. Therefore, I must be good about my own thinking. And if my mind is clear, if I have clarity, my mind commands my brain to do things in a rational, pragmatic, appropriate way that I will be satisfied, at least. But if I start blaming, I'm in trouble because of others, I'm always in trouble.
Yes, it's the choice you made,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, there's lessons. Life is full of lessons, and we learn this as we go along. But thank you for sharing that. That is so significant, especially in today's world, even more so. That do not forget yourself, and that's the first and foremost thing that we must do today and every day. That's for sure. Yeah.
Jane, I will put it in a simple way. I need to have clarity to get out of chaos, but we never talk actually properly about clarity because clarity is not just a word, it's a shareable resource. If I have clarity, I will share it with my family. If I have clarity, I will share with my team. But if I don't have clarity and have chaos in my mind, I'm sharing chaos with my family and with my team, and I'm getting them into chaos.
It's contagious. You're absolutely right. It's an energy. I mean, it's the same with clarity. If you come in calm and steady and you know where you're going or what you're feeling, you exude that and people feel it and they resonate. You come in as a tornado, well, look what happens. Everything gets destroyed. People start, panicking, et cetera. But yes, absolutely. That is so vital. And thank you for sharing that information. Well, speaking of that, you have in your book what you call chaos amplifiers. I love this. I love that you put names to these. So tell us about what you call the chaos amplifiers and this powerful quote that you wrote from your book. It says, chaos invades our minds in three stages: a persistent and intrusive noise, a pale and paralyzing fear, and an uncertainty that robs us of strength. That is brilliant, by the way. And so, give us some insight into these chaos amplifiers.
Yes, I would say even they are not just amplifying, they are multiplying that negative effect in big way. Noise. Noise is a vehicle of delivering doubts, fears, everything, those negative things into our minds. And even if you look at TV news, how much positive are you grasping from there? Not much. It's mainly just like negative news. Something wrong there, some kind of a trouble there. So we're absorbing those things all the time. And that noise makes people full of doubts. They're losing consciousness to an extent in terms of rational thinking. They're responding to every signal. They're becoming always on alert. They're jumping on their toes, and they're not very. They start stripping away their energy because they're paying attention to things which are not important for them. Then we have another one, fear. You see, I put in my book a very interesting cases and examples because fear paralyzes us. It stops us from thinking, stops us from acting. We can't do much in this sense. And what happens? Fear is always something that we simply don't know how to process. And therefore we assuming negative scenarios We don't know reality, and we're just like projecting reality on a big screen in front of us. Oh, it will be a disaster. Instead of thinking about something positive and thinking what I could do to get through it. And then we're getting into a third phase, which is really paralyzing uncertainty. All of us been through that. This is a moment when you don't know what to do because uncertainty on that stage of chaos, it takes agency away from us.
Mm.
We don't have agency over our own life. We're powerless. We're just helpless,
Right.
right? And here it's a very interesting moment because that's something some people think, okay, that's end of my life. That's it. It's a drama. At that moment, people getting mental health problems. They're getting into different sort of troubles and things like that. At the same time, one of these great philosophers, if I remember correctly, was Nietzsche, who said, out of chaos order arises. But actually, it's wrong. Out of
Mm.
uncertainty, we create clarity that we could develop into order.
Mm.
And that
Yes.
moment where you hit the bottom, and that moment where you decide where you are surrendering to chaos or you're getting out of it.
Right.
It's your decision. Are you a victim of it? Or are you about to win against
Right.
against chaos?
Yes. And
What?
absolutely.
But what's a big problem these days? It's it's very difficult to come up with exact data how many people have chaos in their thinking. But so far, and this took me more than 2 years just to research itself, and it still demands researching deeper and deeper and deeper. I found that, or my data indicates that about 76% of today's leaders have chaos in thinking. So more or less, they surrendered to chaos.
Mm.
They surrendered and they're not prepared. It doesn't mean that the remaining 24% never faced chaos. No, they just didn't give up. They
Mhm.
fought through. And so those multipliers are very interesting elements. Whatever I was talking to people who lost a brilliant, beautiful house into a wildfire,
Mm.
this famous Pacific Palisade fire this year, So it's something that could happen very promptly, and they were away. But so when they learn about this, you're still getting noise, some news. You don't believe them, but you just like already on negative mode. Then you got full of fears. What will I do? Because I have nothing. When they, in reality, when they came back home and they saw their house with everything in it in ashes, it was a moment of uncertainty. And so someone will fight and will start rebuilding the things. Someone will die in tears. And
Mm. Right. Yes. Yeah, it's you're absolutely right. Well, speaking of that, then briefly describe how we can defeat these three chaos invaders. You have some tools and solutions in the book. You mentioned mind polluting noise, and you defeat it by ignoring it. There's sticky fear that's contagious, and you can turn fear into your favor, that type of thing as a lever for success. So, just give us an idea or some insight into some antidotes.
look, if I look at even the first noise, the first that dark horse noise, my mind is not a dustbin to absorb every rubbish that's fluffing around.
Mm.
But we still need to process information. We still need to process some kind of knowledge, whatever that we're getting from outside. And therefore, you must think, is it practical for me? Is it entertaining? Because we're still humans, we still need a bit of entertainment, right? So it's not about, oh, I would not watch that show. No, 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 we still need a bit of entertainment, not all the time, of course. And is it polluting me?
Mm.
And as soon as you separate that, something that pollutes me, someone's gossips, or some kind of political agenda news that in fact wouldn't affect me, it's more of a speculation. You're immediately focusing on two things: practical, in most case, and or good for my life, or positive for my business, or for my family, and something entertainment because we still need to have just like a bit of fun
Mhm.
in this life.
Right.
Fair, fair is in most cases is given to us.
Mm.
It's given to us by friends, by colleagues, by social media, by friends, by political parties. So by everyone who wants to, I was looking at this factor from a point of view which industries are betting and prospering from by exploiting chaos. Cybersecurity, social media, political parties, they always will come up with some kind of fair or
Mhm.
a list of fairs. So they will be telling, you're not good, you will survive without us, or something like that. And the people think, yeah, yeah, it would be tough. No, you will survive if you'll make that decision. So I'm offering in the book just like a number of instruments and questions how to help yourself to get out of it. And uncertainty, it's something that very interesting. When we face uncertainty, we tend to ignore what we know as facts around us. We
Mhm.
believe that everything is uncertain and nothing is certain. But if you consciously would sit down with a piece of paper and think, what do I know about myself and what do I know about this? Even if I lost everything, hey, what can I do? I can do this. What do I have in my as my personal qualities plus what I have at my possession, whatever? Be clear. What facts? Where I could go? So therefore, it's not about saying I can do nothing. No, 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 no. It's always something you can do.
Right. Yes. It's interesting because if you I love that you put a process to this. In other words, if your chaos or noise is a choice, you choose the amount of noise that you want, right? Then you've got, go ahead.
No, no, absolutely, absolutely. And it's just like, you see, it's something because no one touched chaos before, no one touched clarity before as a phenomenon. And therefore, for me, I'm still exploring and I'm reprocessing every time I speak with everyone myself. And I agree with you because it's not about being a superhuman.
Mm.
But if we can't structure what we're doing, we're useless. I'm using an analogy or definition of chaos from physics as well, and I'm bringing it in my book. Chaos is a friction of conflicting energies and rhythms. Therefore, if we think for a moment, whatever happens around us, then it happens within us. It's a friction. It's a civil war within own mind. And that's a disaster.
Hmm. That
And
is wow.
you understand me?
Yeah.
Therefore, you're saying, hey, I don't want that war within me. I want peace. And
Right.
out of this peace, I would create a peace of mind. Because if I don't have a peace, I wouldn't come up with a peace of mind.
Right. Conflicting energies. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is. You're being bombarded by the noise, by the fear, by the uncertainty. Yes, that
Absolutely.
description from physics is spot on. That's exactly what's happening. Yes, it's a lightning storm within you.
Yes.
Abs-
And,
Absolutely.
and you have no idea how to calm it down.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're here. So we get some tools to do that. Well, that's wow. That is really that we hit the nail on the head right there. So, speaking of all of these things that are in our environment today, and most likely, and I'm certain they're all going to get more rapid and just increase in
It,
their velocity. The new generation and chaos thinking. How does chaos thinking affect the younger generations? Because they're being born into this world of noise, definitely. They start when they're young and they've got these tablets in front of them, and it's just, they use the social media when they're like 10. I mean, they can get around computers faster than any, most adults, because they're born with all of these things that are out there. So, give us an idea of how it's affecting the younger generation.
Jane, it's a disaster.
Mm.
And I I could feel the pain of these young people because I was talking to a good number of young people, 20 years old, 25, 30 years old, 35 years old. For me, they're young, right?
Right.
And what happens? The amount of information they're consuming every moment is tremendously huge.
Mhm.
But no one taught them about attention, about disciplined mind, and therefore their attention span is next to nothing. And therefore it's a huge gap in which it's like a black hole in which they're sucked in, and the more information they're trying to grasp, even it's developed to an extent, we could say we talk these days about social stigma for those young guys who are trying to avoid that noise because
Mhm.
their friends coming to them say, "Oh, you should watch every whatever TikTok or don't know show on Instagram, whatever. You must do this. You must do this." And if someone is responding, "So no, I'm focusing on my study or I'm focusing on my work or on my girlfriend," no, you're not trendy. You're not good. So it's
Mhm.
become some kind of a social stigma, and younger generation becoming even call it penalized for this,
Mhm.
and so they're forced to grasp more and more of that noise, where attention span, as I say, is still need to be developed, and that's a tremendous work. Therefore, they have difficulty processing those things, and they're very afraid of it.
Mhm.
Uh, they consciously understand that they need to do something, but they need those tools.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully something will come around to provide them with space, because I feel that's what they need to breathe, to just understand that, it's the dopamine hits that they get from all of this. And I never thought of that. What you said is the pressure from others, the stigma that
It,
if they're not into all of that, that then you know, they're not part of the crowd.
it's chaos addiction.
Yeah.
People become but what happens is someone is alcohol addicted or drug addicted. He wouldn't go to his friends and say you should use it. But when people chaos addicted, they're spreading this chaos. and they think you should do the same because they believe it's natural and it's good for something. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big one. And that's going to take a lot of work. They all first need to buy your book for sure. Get the book. Beyond Chaos.
Thank you.
We'll start there. So, well, thank you for that information. Hopefully, we will see some growth in that, or more awareness. That's the word that I'm looking for. Awareness, bringing them into the. First of all, they have to understand that that's what's happening. And then, see if they are interested in pursuing a world that is not as static as they have been born into. So moving on then to the chaos impact pyramid, it shows us how internal disorder spreads outward. Can you guide us through some of the chaos impacts and one exercise that every leader should try to climb back towards clarity?
That's actually a very interesting part. Again, it's difficult to articulate. Okay, the chaos will cost you exactly such and such amount of money or percentage of income or whatever, just like percentage of happiness. But it undermines immediately decision making. It ruins trust. It causes difficulty in interactions, human interactions within the teams or within families. Put it in a very simple way. We all pay the price, huge, hefty price in financial outcome because we are becoming non-pragmatic, disorganized. So we're not rational, and therefore we're losing a lot. One of my clients, coaching clients, when we started, he evaluated that he is losing almost 80% of his income. So more or less he could increase few times by simply, it's not even without creating clarity, but just eradicating chaos within his mind, just like purifying out of it. And therefore there are 9 elements. It's not just one or two or three. It cascades in a big way. It impacts everyone around us, and it grows and grows and grows. So in this sense, it's on my website. I have chaos in thinking score form, self-assessment, so people could look at it, download it. It's for free, just like, and evaluate themselves where they are, to what extent it impacts them, what kind of help them. But the reason behind this form is for people to understand what kind of monster they are feeding in their mind. Name the monster, get rid of him.
Right. So the solution is to first discover what it is that's causing the chaos. And I love that you have that tool for people to go to and take the assessment on your website, and then they can address the like you say, the monster, however which way. Well, speaking of that, yeah, you have crafting clarity, and that's certainly a way to address the chaos. Many see clarity as a gift, but you have framed it as something that you build. So how do we
You,
define
you, always
clarity? And
create, you always create clarity.
right.
We are not pedestrians on the traffic light waiting for a green light, where, oh, clear, we have a green light, we could move on. But in reality, it doesn't work that way, So you must create clarity. And as I mentioned, clarity is a resource.
Mm.
Be careful, it's not focus. I'm using a military analogy. Clarity is knowing which battle to fight, where focus is knowing how to fight and which direction to fight
Mm.
within that battlefield. What's the difference? clarity is a resource which I could share within my family or within my team. Focus is a tool for everyone which direction to look. So focus is not shareable. Focus is always yours or mine or our joint, but we can't share with our, we could say, okay, focus on this. And clarity is very interesting six-step process. And I call this process passat because of those old days trade winds, when, sail ships were getting from Europe to Americas and back along equator. And all begins with, it's called passat. It all begins with P, pause for intentional silence. Jane, it's appeared to be the most difficult part of that framework because we're so pushed by chaos. Go, rush, rush, rush. We can't stop. We're coming back from the office and still sitting on our gadgets. We're still in a rush. Oh, I need to do quick call. Oh, I need, just like we don't have a time to speak to ourselves. But if you would practice 10, 15 minutes intentional silence for yourself, you will discover absolutely another world, another reality within yourself. What I'm saying, if you don't have a time to say to your beloved one, I love you, what kind of family do you have? Your family is in chaos. Therefore, it's not about, some people are good at meditating. Excellent. But when you ask them, why do you meditate? Oh, I'm enjoying it. It's about what do you get into that silence? Why do we need to get to silence? Because in chaos, our thoughts are in a mess. They're like conflict with everything. But our thoughts could meet with solutions only within silence. You must create that space of silence where your thoughts would meet with solutions. That's the reason why you need pausing, why you're meditating. Not just because you're enjoying it, but this is where you get things in order in your mind.
Right. And
Then
you
we're
could
getting
say that, sorry, I was just going to say, you could say you're enjoying it because you are pausing, because you are creating that space. So, yeah, I could, and maybe they don't realize that, but they enjoy it because they realize they're coming back to themselves without knowing it.
it's a brilliant point you brought in. In chaos, we're losing ourselves,
Hmm.
right? When we in silence, we're asking deeper questions. We're looking into our hearts and minds. So we're becoming who we are, and from that point, we're creating something much with much greater sense or greater meaning. Then we're looking into in Passat framework. We're looking at A, which is abundance of opportunities. Remember this conversation about uncertainty. That's a moment where we lost agency over our own life and we believe nothing is possible. But reality is, everything has a pattern, and chaos is not an exception. Chaos has a pattern. Therefore, you're saying, hey, what can I do to get out of it and win? Right? Therefore, you're looking for the gaps. And you don't need clarity to remain in chaos. It's about clarity how to get out of it to the next level and not down, but up. And therefore, you're looking for opportunities, what to do, what to create, what you will do that would get you not just like where you are now, but somewhere you wish to be. Then the next, because it's not about surrendering to that fog, thick fog of chaos. No, there are gaps. And surely just you need to look at them. And when you're posing, you could notice those moments
Mhm.
very easily. It's
Yeah.
not just something like miracle. No, no, it's very easy. Then you need to have the first S in Passat is structured thinking because
Mm.
chaos is unstructured. It's always messy. It's jerking
Mhm.
everything around and you can't catch it. Therefore, it's counterintuitive, it's counter emotional. You must structure your thoughts. And I have an analogy with a beautiful dance. Every beautiful dance is well structured. It's like one, two,
Mm.
three, one, two, three. And you could dance around and it's beautiful. The same. If you get structured, what you can do, one, two, three, you will get out of it. Most people, if you would ask them, can you explain what you're thinking right now? Yeah, most people have millions of thoughts. And what happens? These days, people have a tendency to hold one thought for about 10 seconds. Can you create something big if you're thinking only 10 seconds about this? Can you create a great life, family life, or personal life, or business if you're thinking about it? So if your thoughts aren't structured, you don't have a chance to come up with something great. Structure them. Then it's about simplicity
Mm.
because you can't beat chaos as a complication by overcomplicating it.
Right.
You must come up with something simple. And I have an analogy, and I love it myself. You know, in 1926, Coco Chanel came up with a little black dress. Simple. And every woman is still after it, and every man is still paying for it.
Right.
It's simple. It's brilliant. You know, at those days, 100 years ago, it was a mess on that fashion market. You must come up with something simple that would be executable and you would love it. And then you need to be in Passat A. Another A is authenticity. We
Mm.
all wear masks. And it's not about some people do this voluntary, some people do this involuntary because they're facing chaos. How are you?
Mm.
I'm fine. But those people, they have a storm within their minds. Their hearts are broken, but they're still making that face. And so to move forward to clarity, in this sense, authenticity defines your reliability. How
Mm.
reliable you are today. Because who you are and who you want to be, therefore, that's a gap you need to be covered, being true to yourself.
Right.
You can't fake it. And so, thinking forward, it's nothing about today. You don't need clarity for yesterday. You need clarity for tomorrow.
Mm.
And therefore, it's about thinking forward. Thinking forward, what can I do for tomorrow? What it will be different. Even if it's painful now, even even if no one believes in you, doesn't matter. It's about you believing that tomorrow you will be greater and you will win
Yeah.
because you're getting all energy, focused energy
Mm.
on tomorrow, and you're becoming the winner.
Yeah. That's
So
thank
it's
you for that.
a bit of a framework, but what is good, this framework was already tested by not just on business practices or with clients, it's even been tested with clinical practitioners. And it works
Mm.
perfectly well in different scenarios. whether in
Right.
business or in personal lives.
Well, that is so much information, but such a great tool for us. And again, it's the acronym PASSAT, which is PASSAT. Did I
18.
get it right? Yeah. And
Yes,
it's in the book, but it's so useful to have that tool for you to go back and say, okay, I'm in a state of chaos, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, whether it's whatever it might be, and just take the time. And of course, the first one, which is the P, is to pause. So you're going to have to pause to look at the tool,
yes,
but then you start
yes.
to work through it and it actually calms your mind because you're working on something that is giving you clarity, that is giving you structure, that is giving you a roadmap. That's how I felt. It's what you need to bring the static down, to calm the lightning storm.
In every chapter, I'm sharing practical tips and questions and suggestions. So it's not just like describing, in general. It's almost like manual instruction. Do just like use this, or if you in other scenario use this. That's for people to use immediately. I
Yes,
believe in
exactly.
practical solutions.
Yeah, no, this is why I love the book as well because it's got stories, it's got solutions, it's got exercises, and it's got explanations. So it's got the whole enchilada, as I would say.
Jane, I will put it in a simple way. I've been there myself.
Hmm.
I know how tough is that. So it's not easy. I interviewed people from USA, from the USA, Canada, UK, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, so from different countries, people who've been through deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, to psychotherapists from Harvard and CEOs
Mm.
who were losing businesses. And so people were getting through different situations, how they were getting what lessons, how would they learn. And because I have my own experience of this, it was easy. Then I'm just like always when I'm finishing the book, I do a field test thanks to my clients and people who have trained them, just like trying works. Okay, then I put it like final dot in the book.
Yes, no, a lot of thought, research, and just knowledge is in the book. And it's greatly needed today, and certainly something that we can all use. Like you said, it's not just on a professional level, also on a personal level, because let's face it, we all go through times when we have chaos, no matter what. It's like you said, the world, life is unpredictable. We need this.
You see, it's you can't separate. For instance, if you have problems at home, you getting those
Mm,
negative thoughts, getting them, bringing them to office, and vice versa. So you are carrying this chaos everywhere with you.
right.
So it's nothing. You can't separate. I close the door, like my, into
Yeah.
my house, and I'm clear. Or vice versa. No, 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 no. You must be good at this.
Right. Conscious.
You mentioned about young generation.
Mm,
If you have chaos in mind, how you could teach your kids about clarity?
mm,
Because what happens? What we consume, we produce. If we consume
mm,
noise, we produce noise. If we consume fear, we produce fear. If we consume and create more chaos, we produce more chaos. Hey, let's get it clear. If you have clarity, you share clarity. And they're learning about clarity themselves.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's a big project, Oleg.
It is.
You better get started now because there's not a lot of time left to to change that switch. Because I'll tell you, all the young generation, they're also moving at the speed of light, and they feel that that's where they should be. But I applaud your, yes, all the knowledge and the things that we need to do. So you need to get on the world stage and go to the UN, or I don't know what you need to do, but it's a big calling. But this is a good start. So, yeah, I want to ask you about transformation. And we've been talking about this really in the context of the book and change. If someone truly applies Beyond Chaos, your book, what transformation do you hope that they experience? And what kind of leader could they become?
The first thing first, such a person or such a leader will be like a power station full of energy, concentrated energy.
Mm.
Clarity is energy itself. And I have a simple equation in this book, Beyond Chaos, where your success is mathematically is volume multiplied by effort squared. Because if you know where you're putting your effort, an effort of others, in terms of creating value, you're winning. So you're becoming that power station. It's one transformation. Another thing, you will have more than enough time for yourself to become better because you're not would be jerking between directions. You're not lost. You're clear. You're calm. And that's another thing. I would say you're gaining a new life.
Mm.
You're becoming younger in your mind because I believe our mind becomes old because it's tired of all that mess.
Yes. Yes. Uh, mhm. I
One
believe
of the
that.
questions on my clients, at the beginning of the conversation or some coaching sessions, I'm asking, okay, do you remember the last time when you really laughed because it was like your real laugh, not just like smile or, you know, kind of formal stuff? And most cases, people say, hey, it was long ago. It was just like, because they're always worried. But as soon as you get
Mm.
clarity, those worries goes away. They go away, and you could smile. You could laugh.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're becoming attractive.
You remember who you are. That's what I think.
Yes,
You remember who
yes,
you
you
are
are.
at your essence, at your core. Yes. And what a transformation that is.
You see, chaos in mind bends reality.
Mm.
It bends everything that we see around us. But if we have clarity, we see the beauty around us. We see the beauty within us. We see the beauty within our people, within other people. So it's very different. But everything when bended and scorched, I don't think it's the best way of living.
No, but I love that. Chaos bends reality. So we're working to bring it back. Yeah. To untangle it. Yes.
Yes.
That's really, really interesting. Well, how do you help now? This is give our audience and our listeners some information on how you help businesses and executives with clarity through your work. And what would you say is the single most important skill a leader must cultivate to navigate chaos with confidence? Just if there was one single skill, what would it be?
Mindset.
Mm.
Mindset. It's a greatest. and the most important, leaders asset. And if you have a clear, good, strong mindset, you could face whatever you will be facing. Life wouldn't be simpler, life wouldn't be easier, but if you have a strong mindset, you will be winning again and again and again.
Yes.
It's dramatically important. I'm helping in terms of training with certifications programs on vision and visionary clarity. Uh, this is what I do. Actually, the way I write my books, I'm sharing a lot of tools. People could read
Hmm.
themselves and enjoy it. Unless if they need just like higher level of expertise, they could get hold of me and learn about this. Or get my help in terms of training, team training, or executive coaching. It's all about this. It's what happens. AI would not replace humans. As I'm always saying, we'll have driverless cars, but we will never have humanless organizations or humanless families.
Hmm.
And we need mindset to be with others, to be in command of everything, or we need that agency over our own life.
Right.
I don't think we're prepared to surrender our agency to AI. I don't think so. I'm not.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. At least not in this, not in our generation. Yes, but absolutely, yeah. There's something. I still am a big believer that humans are the most powerful of all. It's not AI. We just need to tap into our power.
AI is a tool.
Hmm. Yeah.
Think. AI is a tool, and I'm not prepared to be a function of that tool.
Mm, yeah. Yes, it is a tool. It is a tool, but definitely, they're exploring all kinds of interesting things these days. But that's a whole nother conversation. We could do a whole podcast on that one for sure. So
Think,
yeah.
I will give you a simple line, right? Even I was exploring this chaos and clarity. So, how much, and it's another confirmation that we know so little about ourselves. And we're trying to create AI that would know more about us. If we, how it is possible? We know so
Mm,
little. We
right.
still need to know generations to explore more about selves.
Yes, I agree. We're learning so much now with the advent of AI, but certainly we're learning on a scientific level what mystics knew, I think, for eons. We're just but putting it in our own language, which is the science, so that we can accept it. Give our audience where they can get a hold of you, and we'll have this all in the bio pages. Plus, your book, I believe it's on Amazon. So just give our audience some
It's
information.
oh, that's
There you
just
are.
hold on. I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book is on Amazon, and they could get hold of me through my website, olegkonovalov.com. And it's a contact form, and I'm always responding. They could connect with me on LinkedIn. This is probably where the most active, and I could respond to the messages. And a simple thing is learn about yourself, get that book. It's not about judging someone, it's for someone exploring own essence, own substance, and enhancing it. And then we could talk, and I would be happy to help.
Yes, that yeah, absolutely. So if there was one thing that you could leave our listeners with today, what would that be?
If you follow every little signal that surrounds us and will follow it, you will die exhausted. If you create clarity, it's about being satisfied.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, thank you again, Dr. Oleg, for joining us here today. And once again, for information and to connect with Dr. Oleg, go to the Epic Vision Zone bio pages, where you will find all of his social media and direct contact information. And don't forget to pick up your copy of Beyond Chaos. It is a fabulous read. It's got tools and stories in there from, like he said, people from all over the world. And be sure, if you take a read, to give Dr. Oleg a review on Amazon, because I'll tell you, this is a book for today's audiences. So be sure to follow me on Instagram at Jane Applegath and look me up at janeapplegath.com. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Epic Vision Zone. Sending you so much love and gratitude. This is the Epic Vision Zone, the ultimate source for extraordinary transformations.